Welcome, race fans, to the round 4 of the Adrian Newey League. My name is Webbo, here to take you through today's SVR Championship race. This is the VR Simracing World Championship, of course. This is the Adrian Newey car, the Red Bull X 2014 Junior version of his design. And we're here to talk about round 4, of course. This is how things look after the first 3 rounds of the season. Pat Finn leading the way with winning 2 back-to-back recent races, and maybe you could argue the moral victory in round 1 as well at Lago Maggiore, but he leads on 52 points ahead of the Jan-Placht pairing of Biggerwood on 33 and Revelit on 31. Pat Finn's teammate, myself, level with Revelit, joint 3rd in the championship, and Jazzy Beats is in 5th place for the Brokaga team on 30 points. Very close, of course, Jazzy Beats, or Kaiser de Pixels, as you may also know him. Diwask is 6th place, having only done 2 rounds with us so far. Joint position with Yabo, both on 25 points. In 8th is Stormborn, with a tremendous level of consistency, 6 points for each of the 3 races on 18 points, 2 points ahead of Sparky Watt and Rizback in P9. Milo is 11th on 12. We have Wilson Core on 10, who I believe is missing the race, and Flobberdob, who is better known as Brum, is in 13th with Salamander or Sol on a single point so far in 14th place. That means that Team Mega have a significant lead in this particular division, ahead of Jan-Placht, and with Delesi, Buckstein, Brokaga, all very close to one another, but with a little bit of a distance away from the lead too. Then comes Kimmy's and Coach Dave at the tail of the field. It's a similar situation when you look at the combined standings prior to the Interlagos weekend for the Formula cars. 204 points for Team Mega mean that they lead the championship at this early stage, round 3 of 13. So we're ready to get underway for the race, a relatively short race for you with the Adrian Newey cars. As usual, we work out around 30-31 minutes, but it's done by distance. So we'll be racing for 21 racing laps around this historic Brazilian Grand Prix circuit. But most definitely the shortest race and broadcast of our weekend and Interlagos round here for all of our relative divisions. Don't forget to tune into at SVR-Racing for S1 every 2 weeks, and here on my channel at Webbo Red 5 for the other races. We will be expecting the GT cars to be racing around Interlagos very soon, but for today at least we'll be watching these aerodynamically fantastic, if slightly underpowered, Adrian Newey cars. Revelit qualified unusually at the very back of the grid for Jan-Placht in 14th, and Stormborn also with a slightly disappointing qualification round by her high standards in 13th place. Brum returns to us with the Bergstein team in 12th, and Sir Grinch is reserve driving in place of Wilson Core for Coach Dave, the mostly red entry. Then we've got for Brokaga, Milo in 10th position, and for Jan-Placht, Biggerwood down in 9th position. This is an interesting situation when it comes to the Jan-Placht versus Mega team rivalry in this division, with Jan-Placht underperforming in qualifying, you have to say, by their usual form. Rizback in for Kimmy's is racing in P8. Then comes Sparky Watts, the Belgian racer, in P7. Jazzy Beats, Kaiser de Pixels, is racing at home, our Brazilian racer here with the crowd behind him in P6. Thump is 5th, guest driving for Delesi. And then Mego qualifying in 4th with some cancer messaging on the back wing that hopefully you can see fairly clearly. Although we're in the shadows here, hopefully you'll see various cancer ribbons and support messages for one member of our community on the cars for what I imagine to be the rest of the season. Christo guest driving for Bergstein. and he is in P3, our German driver. And then it's an all-Canadian front row, and not for the first time here in the Adrian Newey League. Viwask qualifying in second place for Delesi, and championship leader and double winner Finn for Team Mega on pole. Well, it's time to get underway with the racing. We're ready to go. The sun is out. It's a warm, hot, certainly 27, 28 degree day in Interlagos with some cloud cover, but a 4.9 meters per second northwesterly wind for the drivers, which will be a headwind into the all-important Curve 1 at the start of the Estel Senna. We're ready to get underway. I hope you're ready, and you can drop your predictions in the live chat if you don't already know the result, of course, and we will get underway for your racing. 5 red lights will kick us off then for round 4 of the AN division for SVR, and it's dropped the clutch and go. Slight hesitation at the start there. It looks like one of the Brokaga cars dropping very significantly down. It's Jazzy Beats right down into the tail of the order, and it looks like Mego and Christo getting very, very close and personal, getting to know each other here on the circuit. Let's have a look with this as we head down into turn 1. And we've got a late braking maneuver. Looks like Mego getting a little bit muscular and then backing out of it so that we don't gain a position. But Christo in the lead of that particular gaggle, and then the front 2 are fighting super hard, as it looks like Finn is defending heavily with Iwask with a better run, but certainly Finn holding off at this stage and just about wrestling control under the car. That is Thump in the Kimi's car, who overestimated the grip available on the cold tyres. You'll forgive him though, it's his first race here at Interlagos and in the Adrian Newey cars. Finn leading Wask with Christo close behind. I wonder if this will become a feature of the race. Christo and Wask, the 2 predominantly white cars. Mego settling in for his Mega team in 4th position at this stage. And then we've got a real battle going on. Biggerwood making it up several places then into 5th place with Thump, and Jazzy Beats also fighting over the same piece of tarmac. Jazzy Beats up from near the back of the grid up to 6th position here on the medium tyres as well, so getting a great launch was Jazzy Beats. Looks like the majority of the field picking the medium tyre as the one to run. I wonder if Pat's interview on the podcast had anything to do with that, as he revealed his usual strategy. Looks like Stormborn didn't go with that strategy and has used the soft tyres to get up to 9th place, and then not for the first time she will be feeling the nibbling action of a Coach Dave car chipping away at her momentum on the way up the hill, and Sir Grinch into 9th place, but quickly both he and it looks like Revelit throwing that one away. Looks like Stormborn is going to have the run of all runs against both of them and taking the position on the way through the Curva del Sol. Fantastic patience shown by Stormborn, a relative veteran here with regard to this car, as Jazzy Beats versus Biggerwood settles in favour of Biggerwood at this stage. But the Ayrton Senna helmet racing in the green of Brazil around Interlagos, surely Jazzy Beats will be up for this one like no other race. And then there was the tiniest bit of contact there, I think, with Thump, unless it was just Thump off his racing line. Let's look as they run through the corner after Decido de Lago and they go in towards Ferradura. Looks like there's an opportunity for Thump to go for it here. Draws alongside, does he? And then the tiniest of contact, but with the drivers at the absolute limit of adhesion, you could push them round with a finger once they're going through these hard and long corners. Thump then having to reverse the car down into the doldrums of 14th position, and I'm sure not feeling particularly happy at this stage, but hopefully can find some time to recover. Christo versus Wask seems to be allowing Finn to get away from the battle for P1. It's now a battle for P2 and P3. Mego just about hanging on to the slipstream at this stage, but a big gap then opening up between 4th and 5th position, and that's uncharted territory for Mego, who has been used to being hassled and harried from behind for large proportion of the races so far this season. Jazzy Beats showing very well here at home, but it looks like Sir Grinch then, who's just overcome Stormborn. Let's have a look. How did that happen? Here we go, on board with Sir Grinch, and this was the run towards Yun Sao. This is a long way back, so I wonder if Stormborn just understeering, yeah, out onto the curb, and then Sir Grinch basically walks past Stormborn, unfortunately for her, on the better tyre at this stage, the soft tyre, giving the grip and the better run for Sir Grinch. But I think Stormborn also on the soft tyres, so these two be conscious not to hold each other up in battles. Brum is in 10th position, Milo in 11th, and Sparky Watt in 12th. Coach Dave Risbach having dropped back significantly here in 13th, and so is Thump in 14th, but Finn leading the way ahead of Wask, Christo and Mego. This stage of the race, medium tyres, the drivers aiming to get to at least lap 14 to sort of 1/3 distance thereabouts, possibly lap 13 will suffice, as Jazzy Beats puts a move on Biggerwood here. Let's have a look. How did that happen? This is on board with Jazzy Beats, and it was more to do with Biggerwood just slipping off through Decido de Lago. We have seen that time after time through our Interlagos Formula races so far, but Jazzy Beats then up to 5th position. Biggerwood and Revelit now fighting over 5th and 6th positions. The two Jamplacht Interiors cars won't want to get in each other's way by any stretch of the imagination. Looks to be a new message on the side of Revelit's car. I'll have a quick spy at that from the side. Plus 10 horsepower he's got on the car because he's put on some like red rabbits, I think that is, red hairs on the side of the car. Now I wonder if team boss Jamplacht himself will be pleased with that one. Adios written on the back as well of the rear wing. He'll be hoping to say adios to the drivers behind. But Sir Grinch has caught this group very quickly indeed, and racing round the outside of the exit of Subida dos Box after Yun Sao and up the hill. Sir Grinch with some great momentum, certainly able to carve himself a beautiful line going through Yun Sao, and is taking advantage then, puts himself in a position between the two Jamplacht black Lamborghini powered cars and running through the S do Senna and now Curva do Sol. Sir Grinch with a great run here. This is perfect in terms of momentum. No boost, no push to pass for these cars. It's all done on the run down in towards Decido del Lago, and it's not quite there. I've just noticed Sir Grinch with a Delesi helmet design on. That is somewhat of a strange nod to a team that perhaps he was a fan of before joining. Then Biggerwood comes through and Revelit 7th and 8th then for Jamplacht, not doing them any favours here for the task of taking on main team rivals Mega, who are currently running 1st and 4th in this race. Stormborn in P9 on the soft tyres, running a good race, a good patient race so far, and looking to unlock some great pace. We've got Ironman Brum in the cockpit of the Buckstein Transport Service, number 69. There's always one driver who picks number 69, isn't there? Brum, great to have Brum back with us in P10, and then we've got Milo in the Brocarga in 11th, Sparky Watt in 12th with the former Team Darkside Racing car livery, and unfortunately spinning off and getting reset to track. Sparky Watt, that's not what he's looking for at all, and Thump in 14th place. Lap 5 of the 21. The laps ticking by very quickly, and Finn looking imperious at this stage of proceedings. The battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th continues though, and almost equidistant now as Christo unlocks his personal best first sector. I have to say, when I was driving here, I kept getting purple first sectors and then chucking it away in the middle sector. It's got a lot to do with the setup that the cars are running, because you just nail that one throttle application in turn 2 and you are able to get purple sectors time after time, but it doesn't add up to a fastest lap. This is a great battle, really intriguing between three cars somewhat unfamiliar with each other. Christo here guest driving, and had some training, a training race with Christo, and it was monumentally close. Jazzy Beats has gapped the former battle for 6th, 7th, 8th, and so on, and is now trying to reel in Mego in 4th place and make this a 5-way battle at the head of the field. That's the gap then. Back to Revelit, the Hungarian racer, who has now overcome his teammate with that extra 10 horsepower with the sticker on the side of the car, as he fires out of Yun Sao and heads up the hill to finish out lap 5. The soft runners will be starting to really feel those tyres at this stage. That includes, of course, Sir Grinch and Stormborn that we have here. Lap 5 and 6, because the soft tyres are having to be run on heavy fuel, not full fuel. We operate in a 60-litre starting fuel situation at the Adrian Newey League, not a full tank, but still, it is still quite a lot of weight to try and put your soft tyres through. Biggerwood, with the heat haze coming off from the back of the engine on the car in front of him, he sets a personal best first second this time. And then further back we've got Rizback in 10th place on the recovery drive. Milo running in 11th, quite close to each other. That means we've got Kimmy's Racing in 9th and 10th, and we've got the Buxton car of Brum ahead of the Coach Dave, Sparky Watt and Thump in 14th. So the field's still nice and close together. It's great to see. Nothing dramatic has separated the field, particularly in terms of contact for the perhaps the first time this season for the drivers in the Adrian Newey League. And now it's Wask versus Christo. This is getting very, very close now, as Christo looking for that opportunity, looking for that run, and has managed to put a good second or two on Mego behind. Here comes Christo trying to get into that slipstream, but looks like he's lacking a little bit of top speed. And then Wask taking a very narrow line into Curva 1 and the Estel Senna, and it doesn't seem to hurt him particularly. Most drivers taking a wide line entry into the corner, but Wask tends to like this narrow line. You'll see this throughout the course of the race, but I think this represents perhaps the closest battle on the grid, as Christo picks up a purple sector as well, and will ride in this funky apex cam that twists and turns with the circuit. As you can see, Mego coming in from behind, obviously lost some time through that sector, and is perhaps out to about 3 seconds the gap now between 3rd and 4th. They're not letting Finn quite get away from them yet, as Wask also exploring the limits of grip in towards the SA corner, firing them through Pignolino and in towards Pico di Pato. Again, another narrow line. I don't know if that's defensive or just a preference for Wask, our Canadian. 2 Canadians on the front of the grid at this stage, and Christo looking for that better run in and through. Yun Sao drivers were desperately hoping to stamp on the throttle as soon as possible before they even hit the apex of Yun Sao. It looked like for a moment the rear got away from Wask, but he was equal to the challenge of holding the car, and actually still getting a good drive, and I think just trimmed out the car for downforce somewhat. It might explain this narrow line into the corner as well, hoping to just give himself those extra few meters of braking performance before running out of room on the outside. A little bit of margin for error perhaps being given by Wask there. Christo slightly gapped this time, and I think Mego catching back again. Here comes Jazzy Beats, who can see the battle at the front and can barely see anything behind him, as Revelit continues in his 6th place. It's been a good first phase of the race for the Yamplact Interiors cars. Bigwood comes through and quickly matches a green personal best sector, following in the wake of Revelit. So Grinch, I think those soft tyres are starting to get a little bit hot, and I think that's the same situation then for Stormborn, making these tyres last onto 8 laps from the start of the race with 60 litres of fuel was certainly, for me, I'd say a really good achievement from the 2 drivers starting on the soft tyres. We want to better use those mediums, of course, but they will have to head into the pits, I think, at the end of this lap, if not the lap afterwards. but certainly it seems to be affecting Stormborn's pace at this point, and Sir Grinch has definitely dropped back from the striking distance behind the Jan Plax driver, Biggerwood. Here comes Sir Grinch, then out of Jan South. I mean, absolutely tremendous graphics in this circuit. I love the camera angles, the close-up, the curb details. It's really, really good. Here comes Sir Grinch, then he will pit, and I think Stormborn will follow suit, and then they'll be very happy to get the medium tyres on and stop losing pace at this stage. That's going to allow Thump, Milo, and probably Brum to file past while they're in the pit lane. A little dash of fuel goes in these cars as well. Thirsty high downforce cars with underpowered engines, so they spend a lot of a lap on full power. Brum going past those drivers. We've got Rizback and Sparky Watt doing the same, and then we have Christo ahead of Wask, and we've missed that one. So I think what happened was that Wask had picked up a penalty. It was a penalty for Wask, so he picks up a penalty, and that allowed Christo to get by quite easily in the end. This made Mego get, I think, presumably getting quite excited at the prospect of knocking on the door of the podium here. So he's busy trying to get into the slipstream and take advantage of that penalty as they run through. So Grinch still in the pits, getting service there from his engineers. Jazzy Beats still in that 5th place and still not too far away either. Let's see if we can just catch him coming through. Not quite from the rear perspective of the Mega driver, Mego in 4th position. It is Finn ahead of Christo now, and that gap actually increasing somewhat for Finn. It's lap 9 of the 21, not even half distance yet for the drivers on the medium tyres. Well, not even half distance for anybody, let's be clear about that, as Jazzy Beats in 5th place, and then 142 entry for Bro Carga comes through. Glorious looking car in the Brazilian sunshine here, and receiving the plaudits from the crowd, who can see virtually the whole circuit from the start-finish straight grandstand, such as the undulation and bowl effect of this beautiful racetrack. We could only get some good precipitation effects. I think we'd all be a lot happier racing in Interlagos more frequently. Finn, Christo, Wask, Mego, Jazzy Beats, and in 6th place, Revelit is your race order at the moment. Biggerwood in 7th, running through. And we've got Thump in for Delesi running in 8th position. Milo is in 9th now after those pit stops of Sir Grinch and Stormborn. Brum in 10th. Sir Grinch did emerge out of the pits on the new medium tyres ahead of Rizback. Stormborn behind Rizback, and both on new medium tyres. So obviously Rizback stopping early as well, but managing to undercut Stormborn, I think. Surely not headed in towards the pit lane. Looks very like Rizback is turning to the left here. No damage on the car, just a optical illusion, I think, momentarily there for our Frenchman, as Stormborn is in 13th position, but does not have a pit stop to make anymore. So down in 13th, but will pick up places with the pit sequencing later on. Sparky Watts in the Darkside Racing Edition Coach Dave car. That's done because this race was the week prior to May the 4th for Star Wars fans, the most important date of the year, of course. But why don't we have a little look at this livery for Coach Dave? You can see the black predominating. It's great to see a historic livery in a league that's only 2 years old. Yeah, you can see this used to be Lord Vader's team, of course, the Darkside Racing team, and Sparky Watt showing very well, albeit a little bit similar, I think, to Team Mega for this season. So I wonder if we might need to just try and keep our liveries somewhat different if possible. Finn in first position, then leading the way by a good 5 or 6 seconds at this stage. building the gap and not chewing away the tyres too much. Looks like a little bit of lag to the main race host at the moment for Finn, but that's not going to worry him too much. He doesn't experience it, only if a car gets near him, and Finn is so quick at the moment that no one is getting near him in the middle to second phase, to last phases of a Adrian Newey race here at SVR. Christo, what a debut for Christo. This is fantastic. The teams are going to be paying attention here and looking to book him for their races as soon as someone is missing. But Christo showing very well. If you can hold on throughout the course of the race, this will be a tremendous debut. Lap 11 of the 21, so have now passed the halfway period, but still a few laps to run. Certainly one or two laps before the medium runners will start coming in, and Mego continues in 4th position as he has been since exiting turn 1. Jazzy Beats again trying to stay in touch here, and has absolutely no competition behind, although Revelit has picked up a lot of pace, I have to say, in this phase of the race. Revelit starting near the back of the, well, on the actual back of the grid. Revelit up to 6th place, but seems to have stalled somewhat and now needing to manage the tyres. Looks like we've got Mercedes badges on the car here for Jann Mardenborough. I thought Jann Mardenborough were a Lamborghini team, so that's confusing me slightly. Let's have a look if that's still the case on Biggerwood's car. But yeah, he has the 3-point star of Mercedes as well. Nothing special on Biggerwood's car this race, it seems. We're out there spotting what supportive cancer messages we've got out on the cars at the moment. I know various drivers and teams are making an effort at the moment to lend their support and communicate to someone in our community that we're all right behind them. Of course, we all are. So this is lap 12 of 21. Fuel and tyres looking a little bit questionable for Wask at this stage, but I think going through, while they're crossing the white line on entry to the pit lane, they're not actually pitting at this stage. Jazzy Beats also seems to be managing the tyre wear very nicely. I think Mego has the least tyre wear on that front left. I wonder if there's a setup discussion to be had across Team Mega at this stage. Revelit's fairly similar actually as well. Biggerwood certainly chewing through the tyres, if not the fuel. Biggerwood with probably the most fuel we've seen so far on any of the cars out there. This is Wask running 3rd, right behind Christo, challenging her then into Ferradora and Laran Hinya. Wask into 2nd position with a very nice overtake from Christo as they run on then through the course of this lap, as the tyres are starting to wear away significantly. Looks like Wask using more fuel and tyres, I think, at this stage, than Christo now behind him. Now you can see Christo moving around in the dirty air of the car in front. That has certainly got to feel quite uncomfortable, but getting a better apex, stamping on that throttle that microsecond earlier than Wask, and picking up the slipstream very nicely as they run forwards then towards the pit lane. I think they're going to go into the pits together. A touch of the brakes from both cars as they go in, then a huge braking action and contact into the pit lane between the two rivals for 2nd position. Very rare to see that, and rarer still to see anybody braking into the pit lane in Interlagos. So I'm quite sure what was happening there. Mego takes the lead ahead of Jazzy Beats. These drivers who have saved the tyres through or are scared of using the softs beyond 7 laps, they take over the lead and 2nd positions of the race. Mego ahead of Jazzy Beats, and then waiting for Finn to exit the pit lane as well. Looks like most of the grid who started on the mediums coming in on this lap. Finn, Christo, Wask, Revelit, Biggerwood, Thump. What is Milo going to do? Sorry, he's going to stay out as well. Obviously the Brokaga team doing well on their tyre presentation here for the medium tyre wear. So Grinch and Stormborn and Rizbak waiting to pick up some positions now. Sparky Watt is right on the tail of Stormborn. That is some good driving from Sparky Watt, and they'll go side by side. Sparky then on the medium tyres, it comes into contact slightly with Stormborn as they race through and makes the overtake as well. Stormborn presumably lifting under that contact, and who would blame her after the contact she's had at various points through the season so far, particularly with Coach Dave cars in fact. But Mego then running on to the end of his 14th lap, leading the race. I imagine Jazzy Beats will come on in as well shortly, as both drivers are pretty much racing on fumes. Jazzy Beats has held on to a little bit more fuel actually, and whoa, almost overstretching the limit of race controls attitude on the way into the corner. Should be an easy resumption of the lead for Finn then. 346 Canadian racer with the back-to-back wins so far in races 2 and 3, only beaten by a reserve driver who was quickly shown a higher division to race in, Senor Fak, in race 1, and there he goes back into the lead of the race. And Christo versus Wasp will continue here. That wasn't really an attempt for an overtake from Wask. That tends to be his line into turn 1, and he runs through, and we'll see if he can get a good gap on Mego behind. Mego just coming out of the pit lane, and don't think has gained any time for running that extra lap on the medium tyres, but we'll have a younger set of tyres for the remainder of this race. It's lap 15 of 21. Finn leads Christo and Wask. A big gap then back to Mego now, and Jazzy Beats, who is on the hunt for a 4th position at this stage of the race, pushing hard as well on those new soft tyres. Revelit, with the googly eyes on the helmet, is in 6th place. He's got his tyres sorted for the end of the race as well, enough fuel. And Sir Grinch adding a bit extra fuel perhaps than most, just to play it safe here. But I do think Coach Dave will have words with him about that helmet design in the Racing and Delessi helmet design in the Coach Dave car. Thump is in 8th place. This is looking interesting now, as Delessi have told his team to push and try and chase down Sir Grinch, who loses the back end of the car momentarily but holds it nicely out onto the dirt slightly. But it was not a position on the track where Thump felt confident he could dive through, so almost making contact but not quite. A much calmer race here from the Adrian Newey drivers. I think some of the draconian and appropriate steward decisions that have been made so far this season in this league have, in this particular division, have perhaps encouraged the drivers just to calm down a little bit. We don't want ultra calm driving and a snooze fest. This is a good overtake from Thump coming. Camera cuts away at the crucial moment, but Thump with the overtake on Sir Grinch. Nice and smoothly does it from the Delessi driver on the soft tyres now. Of course, Sir Grinch having to reverse roles from earlier on the medium tyres, and look at the difference in traction then. Obviously he was not on a great run through the Estor Senna, but Biggerwood up to 8th place, and nice and neat and tidy. And then Grinch is just being forced to try and handle the car there out on the extreme outer edge of track limits, but holding it nicely. Number 97 for a moment, and then decides to trim the grass on the way through Fernandora corner, and that's going to lose him time and add insult to injury, a penalty as well for going off track. Rizbak is in 10th place. Sparky Watt is in 11th now, but also with a half-second penalty, just stepping over the white line just momentarily. And Stormborn running in 12th place. Looks like a bit of a bogey track perhaps for Stormborn, unfortunately. The Ferrari not performing at normal standard here, despite the fact that she hasn't been suffering any damage from what I can see so far. Brum in 13th position. 1 second penalty has been given by race control for track limits again. And perhaps the personal best by half a second gives a clue as to how we achieved that. Up the hill and then off the throttle, and then it looks like Milo is going to breeze on by at full throttle and up into 13th place. But these two still fighting over the final place on the grid. Meanwhile, going through, Bico Di Pato goes Finn, followed by Christo and Wask. Wask again with the penalty, with an off-track penalty. So a 1 second penalty will again mean that he's going to have to do a lot of work to catch Christo, and might even start thinking about his mirrors here in the final few laps of this Interlagos race for these Adrian Newey drivers. There he was off throttle, as Mego then was at full throttle at the same time. And Jazzy Beats has been putting in some fantastic times, a 49.0, 49.2 for the in and out laps. But there we go, a fastest lap so far, a 31.665 from Jazzy Beats. Contrast that with Mego's 32.6. 31 would have got him in a better qualifying position even than I think he managed. So finding a terrific line through this snaking Interlagos circuit. 31.665 may well be unbeatable at this stage, as Mego feeling a little bit hot under the collar now with the last 3 and a bit laps to run, but also trying to focus on hoping that Wask goes off track again and picks up another penalty. It looks like though Mego has insufficient pace to feature on the podium by his own credit today, it seems. Revelit then in 6th place on his own here as the battle at the head of the field hots up. Risbach has picked up a 1 second penalty just as Biggerwood closes in, and I wonder if there was a little bit of contact there for a moment. Let's head back and see what happened between these two. Go for a side-on view as braking down, and there was contact. Biggerwood ducking out of the throttle, avoiding action after the contact, I suppose, and not capitalising on the contact. But the 1 second penalty Risbach is going to have to pay shortly will put paid to this battle, unfortunately. Sir Grinch in 8th, again another car on his debut here for us. And I know how excited Sir Grinch was to take part in an SVR official race session, and it's great to have that passion and love for the sport as part of our community. Biggerwood in 10th, and then behind him we've got Sparky Watt coming through in the historic livery. Stormborn in 12th place. Can still see Sparky Watt for a potential challenge later on, as Brum chases down Milo again for that 13th place. Finn leading away though with great speed at this point, and then we have Christo in 2nd, Wask in 3rd, closely followed by Mego, and then Jazzy Beats, having got that fastest lap, then put in a 32.3 just to back it up. Mego equal to that on that particular lap though, in a personal best of 32.3. So feeling the need to push and being instructed to push by his captain at this point as well, and managing to extract a little bit of additional time while following Wask and trying to get that slipstream as well. Tricky situation, but yeah, usually blocking other drivers and holding them up is Mego's usual MO, but today looks to be having to do both that and try and chase someone else down as Jazzy Beats come through. Let's check out Jazzy Beats' lap time, as the wind has picked up as well at a northwesterly 5.0 meters per second now, as Jazzy Beats comes on through. We'll see if he can get another quick lap here. Certainly pushing hard. No, a 1.4 seconds slower lap than his personal best of 33.0. So now looking at those soft tyres and possibly regretting the degree to which he pushed earlier on as in the stint, as Revelit in 6th place, Thump in 7th, and then back to that Sir Grinch, Biggerwood, Risbach battle that continues. Risbach having, oh dear, that camera angle is uncomfortable as we get completely run over by Biggerwood coming through. But again, just slightly off race here for our Jamplacht drivers, not able to get the setup, I think, quite talking to them, properly as Rysbach gets back past Bigerwood thanks to an off-track excursion penalty. Then we have Sparky Watt, as I said, in that 11th place. Here is Thump for Delesi. Around as the penultimate lap has been begun already. And then we see running out of fuel possibly as well. Most of the cars though entering the red line now for the fuel. And it's funny to see both Mego and Jazzy Beats in their red fuel display, given that they stopped last of all on the circuit. As Finn begins his final lap, then his lap of honour, it seems. Absolutely imperious speed here. Wask chasing down Christo, Mego behind him, and Jazzy Beats with a what lap was that? A 33.4 on this lap. So starting to worry, I think, about the tyre and fuel usage throughout the course of the rest of the race. This then is Wask in third place. Not afraid to take that junk food and drink sponsorship, Diet Coke and Pringles. Quite the breakfast of champions, I'm sure, out there, as Christo follows Finn. And I think most of the positions now on the track have been pretty much decided. Let's go back to see what's happening between Stormborn in the Kimmy's purple and Milo in the Brocarga green. Milo comes through and looks like he's got a good run at this stage, but Stormborn holding on, defending hard. This is their final lap beginning, and Stormborn holding off Milo. Wow. Fantastic. I have to say, it looked a little bit aggressive from that camera angle. Let's see if enough racing room was given to her rival there on the approach to the corner. Let's just click that one back a second, because that's Stormborn, I think, having enough of the treatment she's received so far. Full defence, valid defence on the inside, and then coming down into the corner. Well, you have to say, actually, at that phase, Milo was a little bit speculative and trying to put his car perhaps where it didn't really belong. Here is Finn then coming through and out of Jonsal through Subidus box. The crowd are on their feet to celebrate a Senna-esque performance here at Interlagos, and he's drifting the car to a finish as well. 3 Webbo style points for that one from Finn. Didn't cause a yellow flag, so it's okay. Christo in second, Wask coming through in third place, and Mego closely, but no Sigali in fourth place. Jazzy Beats at home, limping home on the fumes of the Adrian Newey Brocarga car in fifth place. As Revelit from the back of the grid comes home as perhaps a driver of the race candidate in sixth place. There is Sir Grinch, and then this battle for Rysbach and Bigerwood continues as well. Sir Grinch, I think, out of danger from anybody else, but Rysbach versus Bigerwood, they'll be reaching for the non-existent boost button at this point, but I think Rysbach too far ahead at this stage. So Grinch debuts with a 7th place, bravo to him, and Rysbach comes through and takes that 8th and keeps it from Bigerwood, who also puts in a little bit of a drift to cross the line. Sparky Watt in 10th, Stormborn will come home in 11th place, hard fought and well earned. Then comes Brum and Milo with Thump at the back on no fuel whatsoever, low fuel mode for Thump. Jazzy Beats had the fastest lap of the race, that 1:31.665. It made people stop and take notice post-race, but there's your victor. Finn for Canada and Team Mega. Once again, that's 3 races back-to-back. Finn has been victorious. Congratulations to him and everybody who finished the race today. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. It's been a real pleasure once again to call these races, and we will catch you on the next race day.